that was unfortunately lost with the Salafi dry desert type of understanding that made the Aqidah so dry, so rigid, so shallow. It just few rhetorics. أسماء الله وصفاته بلا تعطيل ولا تشبيه etc. مقاصد religion 1 2 3 it's checklist. أركان الإسلام, أركان الإيمان, and that's it. You memorize them. You think that that's our religion is much bigger than that and much more inspiring and empowering than to be put on those rigid structures or rhetoric or statement that sometimes do not have any implications.
You connect the shukr, Dr. Suhail, with the parents too, if you can elaborate more on this point, you know.
Jazakallah khair. When I mentioned the first part was about gratitude to Allah, and then comes your gratefulness and thankfulness to your parents. And the Quran made it so clear. I mean, can you believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts in the same verse, أَنُشْكُرْ لِي وَلِوَالِدَيْكَ, be grateful to me and to your parents in the same sentence. حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أنشكر لي ولوالديك. Cannot be more than that. Be grateful to me and to your parents. And of course in Surah Al-Ahqaf, in Surah Al-Ankabut, وبالوالدين إحسانا. And then in Surah Al-Isra, when the same verse puts tawheed and kindness to the parents in the same verse, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَلَّا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا إِيَّاهُ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. That tawheed, Allah decreed that you worship none but Him, and then to be kind to your parents. And it cannot be more evident and more clear than that. And Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam linked, as Dr. Safi mentioned earlier, من لا يشكر الله من لم يشكر الناس. Very clear. You cannot be grateful to Allah if you're not grateful to people, because what people do to you is very tangible. It's right now. Somebody is doing a favor for you now. If you cannot appreciate that, how are you gonna appreciate that Allah has given you eyesight and gave you all of these? Because you tend to take them for granted. And then how are you going to appreciate the fact that you have a degree and you have a job and you have etc., this and that, or business? Shaitan can always trick you to tell you that you did this because you worked hard, because in college you worked hard, or because you knew how to do business, you are a smart business person, etc. So it's much easier to trick you there if you cannot appreciate something tangible. And among that people do to you. Right now, somebody is doing a favor to you. If you're not going to be thankful to that person, more than likely you're not going to be thankful to Allah. So and among all the people, parents have very special position, because parents made you. Your parents made you. Just always find a way to remind yourself, how did you come to this world? You came to this world helpless, unable to do anything, unable to feed yourself, unable to clean yourself, unable to walk, unable to do anything, helpless completely. And then your parents took care of everything you need, and not for a day, not for a week, for years. They have been doing it. Gradually you pick up and you start doing some things by yourself, but still with all the care and with all the support and etc. And even when you grow up, you become a child, you do almost everything by yourself. You don't need that immediate help that we're providing for you, feeding or cleaning or etc. Yet, after that, the parents sponsored you. in your study. I mean, elementary, pre-K, whatever, elementary school, middle school, high school. Who's sponsoring you? And where are you getting all the support? There are somebody who's sponsoring you. And then nowadays, sometimes even during college, parents are paying and they're helping children getting married. And what is this? What is it that you can do to return even partially these favors? So kindness to parents was elevated, because definitely if someone is not grateful to their parents, 99.999%, they will not be grateful to Allah. You can't. And if you are even if you manage to do it, it's not going to work, because the Ridwanullah passes by Ridwanul Walidain, Ridal Walidain. Your parents are not pleased with you, Allah will not be pleased with you. He put it as a condition. So if you want to work around that and find another path to Jannah and to Ridwanullah, don't even try, because the hadith is clear. يعني لا يدخل الجنة عاق. The one who is not good to their parents, they compromise their chance, then no chance to make it to heaven. So people unfortunately don't realize this, and we have problem in our gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we tend to take things for granted, and we have a problem with gratitude and thankfulness to our parents, because we forget, and shaitan make us belittle with time what they have done to you, and that's not appropriate. We need to work on both fronts, remind ourselves always. It's a very simple, by the way, statement. Put it in your office, put it in your car, put it on your phone, put it everywhere. ما وما بكم من نعمة فمن الله. Whatever good is happening in your life, it's a blessing and favor from Allah. ما أصابك من حسنة فمن الله. Just remind yourself this, so that anything that happens to you, anything good happens to you, you are thankful to Allah. And find a way to remind yourself about what your parents have done. Especially if yourself is a parent and you have experienced that. You really have no excuse whatsoever. You have done that. You see how your child will wake you up in the middle of night, and how much effort is needed for that child to be born first with the mother, and then to grow up. So and then, as I mentioned also, some people they try to find excuses for themselves. I'm not in good terms with my parents. Let me explain to you why. No, I don't need an explanation. If you find a valid explanation to Allah, go for it. But believe me, there is no valid explanation, because there is no excuse, because you are not doing them a favor. You are returning a very small part of their favors. And this culture of lack of appreciation became so widespread in our communities and in Muslim societies. You hear it all the time, that people are complaining, and sometimes they stop helping others because of lack of appreciation. Of course, you should not do things to be praised or for appreciation. You should do it fi sabilillah, yani. But also, they were a human being. I mean, if you are helping someone, helping, and they don't appreciate, and then it becomes harder for you to continue to help. So this lack of appreciation, which is so widespread, is destroying relationships, and it's stopping a lot of good things that could have happened or could have continued if people were grateful and appreciative.
Dr. Suhail, a lot of problems between the kids and their parents is coming from the problems between them and their spouses. I remember a few years ago, I was in the one lady, she was dying at her deathbed. Her son tried to pull her hand, to kiss her hand, and she was pulling her hand. She refused. Trust me, doctor, in my eyes, I see it. She refused to let her son to kiss her hand few hours before she passed away. And the reason for that, his wife. How we can help the wife and help the husband? We need to find solution for these people because it's happening right now in front of our eyes. Most of the people right now stuck with their mother or their father or both here in this country. And some of them, they start sending their parents to retirement home. And it's not part from our culture. And you ask the guy, why you are sending your mother to retirement home? He'll tell you, okay, because she cannot have good relationship with my wife. And the wife tell her, why you don't have good relationship with your mother-in-law? She will tell you, because she's interfering in my life. How we can find solution, how we can help these people to find solution for these issues.
Well, yeah, brother, that's a huge question. The problem is nowadays the spousal relationship is not solid enough to support this dual relationship of the husband dealing with his wife and with his mother or his parents, because the very foundation is shaky. So those who are tested with this, like their parents, they need help and they need probably to live with them, or they need their support. They usually are unable to handle that dilemma because the spousal relationship itself is not strong enough, is not solid enough. Because if it was solid with a frank communication and open communication, and everybody there is mutual respect, there is a healthy communication, so that we have this, and my duties toward my parents, and this is not something that's a favor that I'm doing, so we need to cooperate for this because it has to do with our faith and our destiny and thereafter. It's a very serious, the stakes are very high, but usually all of that is not there. I mean, this kind of communication is not there. So when any problem that happens, it actually reveals the fact that the family itself is dysfunctional, cannot take any external problem because they are barely managing to keep things going. So any extra factor or extra challenge, it really exposed the weakness and to what extent the family is dysfunctional. So the root cause of the problem is there. That's number one. Number two is a lot of husbands do not have the personality to manage this challenging situation, which is balancing between spouse and parents. They don't have the strength or the confidence to put everything in perspective and be fair with everybody, and do not draw the line that I'm in charge here, and I'm not going to allow anybody to cross. So I will be able to try to push everybody push back if they cross their limits. They do that with their parents. They do it, of course, with kindness, without being rude, and they do it with their spouses. We don't have that healthy, functional family that can support this challenge or can handle this challenge, and we don't have mans or husbands who they usually what do you call it? They usually either take side, and that's bad, or hands off, just to get peace of mind. And things will deteriorate, and they just leave me alone. I mean, do whatever you do, leave me alone. I have seen these two trends time and again, that either take side, and these, by the way, the easy solutions. It's always easier to take side, or hands off, leave me alone, do whatever you want. And take side, in most cases, take the side of wife or spouse. But in some cases, I've seen also the other side. I mean, I've seen spouses or a husband who really are not fair with their wives, because they allow all the abuse and unfairness and injustice against her. So, how do we solve this problem? There is no easy solution. This cycle of family that we have addressed in a series of khutbah, it's a vicious cycle now. It's working the other way around. Our families are being built haphazardly, and then in most cases, from what I have seen, from what I have read, in most cases, and this is, by the way, even though there is a lot of denial and there is a lot of slipping things under the rug, but in most cases, Muslim families are between dysfunctional and borderline divorce or de facto divorce. People are living together, but they will tell you that they're living together because of children, but there is nothing else. A lot of families, unfortunately, they are either barely functional, meaning there is a Cold War, not an active war, but there is, things are really frozen and barely functional. The family becomes more of like roommates. So family comes down rather than one entity. It becomes like a group of people working together, and everybody has certain duty to do or certain functions, certain tasks, and things are going, things are moving. Why? Because again, the problem is very deep, that people, when they get married, they don't do it right. They don't educate themselves. They don't ensure compatibility. They don't get to know each other very well, so that to minimize surprises. So things are really haphazard. And then there is even deeper problem, which is a lot of people, they don't know what they want in life. And then that's why relationships cannot be strong between two people who are still confused. They don't know, or if one of them knows and the other doesn't. What is your mission in life? What's your calling? What is it that you're trying to achieve? So people get married for the sake of marriage, and then their life becomes so routine, work, cooking, eating, very basic functions and tasks, but there is no higher purpose for which the family. That's why I mentioned before that this mission of Islam can help strengthen families, because in addition to everything else, in addition to mutual affection, respect, and trust, there is a common cause. And usually when you have a common cause, it joins hearts even of people who don't know each other. Never mind people who love each other and trust and respect each other. And you add to that, there is a common cause. That's almost an insurance that this family will work, will be successful. Because, again, if anything else is disrupted, there is always this common mission or common purpose that we are working for, and we need to help one another to do it. And that will prevent any deterioration. Of course, in addition to akhlaq al-Islam, which is critical, and it is missing, unfortunately, a lot of time. that people should not lie, people should not cheat, people should not abuse. You have that self-restraint, even if it is like a woman who's might be weak or might be dependent on you, that you're still gonna refrain yourself from exceeding your limits or from abusing or from doing anything that is unfair. So it's a lot to learn about our religion so that we produce the Muslim who is mission driven, who has that high level of manners and character. And then on top of this, we need to do this marriage thing correctly by ensuring that people talk to each other frankly before marriage. There is compatibility, and there is maturity. Because nowadays there are people who are immature, they get married, and then after 1 year you hear divorce. Nowadays in our communities, a lot of divorce cases after 1 year or 2 years of marriage. So just this whole Muslim personality and Muslim family building and managing Muslim family has to be revisited and reassessed, because if we're going to continue doing the same thing, we're going to get the same results. We are not producing the mission-driven Muslim. We are not emphasizing akhlaq in Islam. We're emphasizing sha'air, rituals, and fiqh, halal and haram, but not manners and decency. We're not emphasizing those two things, and those are critical. Having a mission and then having a high, strong characters. And then with that, we want to make sure that these two individuals are compatible, that they talk to each other, they knew each other, so there will be no surprises. Because what I keep hearing all the time, this is not what you told me, this is not what I expected. So problem of expectations, a lot of surprises. Why? Because people did not get to know each other and did not talk to one another, and because probably they don't know even what they want to achieve in life. So that family, those two individuals, they don't merge together to form one entity called family with one master plan and a team that complement each other but not fight each other for power or power struggle. Yes.
Doctor, you've been talking about family issues and family values for a while.
Mm-hmm.
We got interrupted, of course, with the very important event that happened in Gaza, but inshallah, we'll get back to the family issues. I'm concerned about not what you're saying, but how it's received. How much we are all retaining out of what you're saying. Because if what you're saying to us, which is very important, is not really sinking in, we're not absorbing it, then next year you'll find yourself repeating the same thing to the same people. And I would rather that we will have a nucleus of 3-4 people who are absorbing what a mission-oriented Muslim means and how it applies to his personal life, his family life, his societal life, his life within United States, and move forward. So each one of us will become a teacher later, instead of remaining students, waiting every Sunday or every Friday and every Sunday to get what Dr. Suhail is going to tell us. We need to internalize it. We need to build on it and move forward. Is there any methodology you can suggest for us to show that we are absorbing what you're saying? For instance, you can ask me a question about it, or ask Abu Abdullah, or ask Muhammad, or ask anybody you want, or ask us all to prepare something for next week and come here and present it, 5 minutes each. Something to show that we are interacting positively with what you're saying. Again, I'm critical of someone talking and others are receiving, because this is the traditional way we got accustomed to in our mosque. Somebody talking, and without that person who's talking, we're lost. No, we don't want to be lost. We need someone to teach us the ABCs of the language, and we need to read for ourselves. Can we move from talqeen into tafkir, from just receiving and repeating what you're saying into thinking for ourselves and trying to be innovative, into creative, into showing that we understand what is said and reacting positively to it, making it a fact of life within ourselves, within our families, and the society we're living in. I mean, I've listened to you for like a year now. Where are we going from here? Thank you.
Jazakallah khair. I think that's a very valid question and concern, and I welcome any mechanism. I mean, whatever we can do to embody this message and to market it and propagate it. I'm probably not the one who can bridge that gap or that link. I need someone who can do that, because everybody knows what are their strengths and then weaknesses. Managing this is not my cup of tea. It's not like I don't want to do it. I just don't have the skills to turn ideas into tasks or project or plan or again, if people have been longing for this for a while now, that I know that we're going nowhere without forming a solid core group.
Yes.
Because any movements of change in history, including the prophetic movement, started with solid core group.
Yes.
Solid core group, meaning people who understood exactly the project or the mission and fully committed to it, and with a true leadership, with true brotherhood. People know each other deeply. We need to find a way to create that core group. I cannot do it, but I'm willing to do anything to make it happen. But before reaching that point, we're still in the level or domain of ideas. Yes, it's helpful to do this paradigm shift and to rediscover our great religion and to come together once a week and to remind, because a human being naturally tend to forget. Iman tend to weaken. Rasul says it tends to wear out. So these kind of meeting, at least at the maintenance level, refreshing, strengthening our commitment and our understanding of religion, it will do that. But it will not transform into an actual movement of change without that solid core group. The core group that was built around the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. When people realize how big this mission is and how noble, and then they committed themselves fully. When a companion came to the Prophet to declare Shahada, it was not taken lightly. This person was saying the Shahada that nowadays probably we have only superficial understanding of it. For those Arabs who master the Arabic language, they knew what they're putting themselves into. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. I'm dedicating my life to Allah. Ashhadu anna Muhammad Rasulullah. I'm taking you as my leader. That's not a role model. This is the commitment. That's why you see that transformation. It's I'm moving forward from this point. I'm going to dedicate myself and my life to Allah. So whatever you want me to do, I'm there. Wherever you want me to be, I'm there. And And then I'm taking you, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as my leader and as my role model. That's why the companions were very clear. Subhanallah, even though you can think of that societies to be very simple, but the iman was very deep, and they got the grasp the essence of Islam. How? One, when they were dealing with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they were asking the question, are you doing this as a leader or as a prophet? As a prophet, we're not going to talk. As a leader, we're still going to discuss, but at the end of the day, whatever collective decision we're going to take, we're going to implement it. So it was not an empty shura. It's not just consultation. Exactly. It was a consultation with the intention that we're going to I'm going to give our opinion, but we want to reach a conclusion, reach a decision. They didn't have any voting at that time, but there was real shura that leads to a decision. Once the decision was taken, everybody is committed to it. Do you see this anywhere in a Muslim organization or in Islamic center? None. That's why I say we are nowhere close to the prophetic community and the prophetic model and the prophetic movement. So there is there is a leadership, true leadership. There is a consultation. There is a decision. That decision is binding. Nobody will say, no, I don't agree, or I will see what I can do. There is no such thing, because you made that pledge and that commitment with the Shahada that you're going to do whatever it takes and you're going to be whatever you are expected to be. So that's the solid group. You see it in how they dealt with the Prophet. You see it in how they rushed to elect a leader immediately after the death of Rasulullah, knowing that there is no such thing as a movement without, as a community, without true leadership. I mean, they did not even delay it. They did not say, okay, let's take our time. It's not urgent. No, you cannot. Because this is a prophet who taught them that if three of you are traveling, not they want to change the world, traveling, three of you are traveling, they should select a leader among them so that you remain always united and compact, and things does not become chaotic. And you see it in the statement made by by Sa'd ibn Mu'adh in the Battle of Badr. That summarizes the whole thing. This is something that everybody should look it up and read it. That will tell you what kind of commitment these companions made. Because Rasul ﷺ migrated to Medina. The deal he had with the people of Medina was what? The deal he had with the people of Medina to protect you in Medina. So if somebody is coming, attacking the Medina, we are going to protect you. That's what they pledged. So Rasul ﷺ, when he went out to intercept the caravan of Quraysh, that was out of the deal. That was not part of the deal. This is something that's not what we agreed on. So on paper, that's not part of the deal. And then there was Quraysh insisted on fighting, by the way. Rasul ﷺ was never involved in an offensive attack. Even Badr, it was intercepting caravan to recover some of the money that they were stolen. What's stolen?
And
properties. But it is Abu Jahl and the Quraysh insisted on fighting. So when they insisted on fighting, Rasul ﷺ, as usual, start consulting. And then all the Muhajirin said, go for it. And Rasul ﷺ kept asking, Ashiru alayya. So Sa'd ibn Mu'adh, who is one of the leaders of the two tribes in the Medina, he got the message that Rasul is waiting for their opinion, for Ansar. Because Ansar did not pledge to support you outside for something like this. So, and Sa'd ibn Mu'adh responded in a way that tells you what kind of commitment the companions made. Said, our commitment to you is much more than whatever was on paper or whatever we agreed on. It is we are dedicating our life. Go do whatever Allah asks you to do. We're going to be there. Even if you cross this sea, we're going to cross it with you. Nobody will have a second thought. It's an amazing statement. that tells you what kind of commitment the companions made. Without a solid core group of that level, there will be no movement of change.
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
You ask for suggestion. Here's one. How about for next Sunday, if we will ask everybody to tell us what does a mission-oriented Muslim for him means? What is his mission
Great.
according to his own understanding?
Great.
You know, let's. I mean, we don't need a lecture. We need a simple statement. You've been teaching us that we need to be mission-oriented Muslims. What does that mission means for each one of us?
Great. I mean, we can also add.
Can we ask people for their opinion? Because I
Yeah.
don't want to be.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they need to agree.
Mhm.
Otherwise, we will be. Can people show by show of hands if they're in agreement or not? Abu Abdullah, are you in agreement?
Yes, I am, but you know, let the other people
Good, well,
talk,
I'm,
you know.
I'm
Let
gonna
Ayman
call every
talk.
one of them. Akh Hamid, Muhammad.
Muhammad, I think he needs to talk.
I agree, but
Okay,
I
so
mean,
that's-
I have different ideas planning to start, but maybe next time, inshallah, we'll
Inshallah, why not?
talk about another subject related to the practical side of Islam. But I want to add, I mean, can I have another thing related to the mission-oriented Muslim?
Mhm.
Well, I noticed, and not, no, I mean, it's in the news, that lots of American, maybe not only in America, people became Muslims admiring or amazed by what they saw in Gaza.
Mm.
They saw people, their house collapsed, part of their family got
Lost.
killed
Mhm.
or lost
Alhamdulillah,
or something. And they
Alhamdulillah,
are saying Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
So lots of, I mean, it's not just, it's real. Lots of American, they are on the social media talking about that, and they are asking, what is there? What's different? Why we don't have that essence in our life?
Mm.
So that's, I mean, we know our Muslim, I mean, Ummah, not in the best shape, but there is some stuff still existing like that. Like people are thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for even what happened to them. And not like losing everything or lost it because of what happened. I mean, some people will be like turn to kuffar or something if something small thing happened to them. But on the other side, I mean, there are people thanking Allah and getting closer to Allah after this the disaster that happened to them.
That's true.
Maybe this is how they see their mission in life, to be in hamd to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala regardless what happened. So they're living to be always in gratitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maybe this is how they understand their mission. That's one way to look at it.
Actually, that's also something I mentioned, which is I said actually in Jumu'ah, take the lesson from Gaza, that not only you should be thankful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what he has given you, but also when he takes something away from you, you should be thankful to Allah for what he has kept for you. That's hard, but that's what the people in Gaza have done. That someone loses their house, their business, their part of their family or most of their family members, etc., and they're still thankful. Why? Because you know that everything belongs to Allah. Lillahi ma akhada wa lillahi ma a'ta. Everything belongs to Allah, and if he takes something away, you thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for what he kept for you, which is again harder than thanking Allah for for the things that you still have. But it's really a big lesson, not for non-Muslims, even for Muslims. The level of qana'a and the level of content and thankfulness and gratitude that we have seen in Gaza was shocking even Muslims, not So it's no surprise that it will shock non-Muslim or others to say, what kind of faith and what kind of people are these? How can you be grateful and patient and persevere in the face of such tremendous loss? Being thankful again for anything that Allah keeps for you, even if He takes something away, but that's the level we need to try to reach, and that starts by at least being thankful for what you still have, and don't wait to lose it to appreciate it. Don't wait to lose something in order to see its value and appreciate it. Always remind yourself of the things that you have that others don't, that the things that you are spared from, tests or challenges of life that other people are going through.
Dr. Suhail, actually, I don't mind becoming transparent and sharing something with you. While you were talking, they need to be thankful for what Allah left to them. I was going to interrupt and said, and for what He took from them. Then I heard in my head a voice saying, are you capable of being that thankful if I take from you what I took from them? And I know I'm not.
Yeah,
I know I'm not. I'm very sorry. But we need to ask ourselves this question. This is a real test. They're not like us. They're much more, they're stronger. They're more resilient. We're talking about being strong, but we haven't been tested the way they have.
That's true. That's why we pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala all the time that He will not test us with something that we cannot take. لا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به. Asking Allah for forgiveness is part of that. Being thankful to Allah. ما يفعل الله بعذابكم إن شكرتم وآمنتم. It's a way for you to protect yourself. Being thankful to Allah, it's a way for you to get more, because that's a promise from Allah. وإذ تأذن ربكم لئن شكرتم لأزيدنكم. That's why Iman was put in contrast with kufr. Shukr was put in contrast with kufr in several verses in Quran. And that's why when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned that He bestowed wisdom on Luqman, what was that wisdom? أن اشكر لله. ولقد آتينا لقمان الحكمة أن اشكر لله. Almost wisdom is defined as shukr. Iman is defined as shukr. That tells you the importance of being thankful to Allah and grateful every day, not once a year. You don't wait for Thanksgiving. It's something that you do it every day. You open your eyes, you start your day with thanking Allah. And then when you go to sleep, you try to review your day and pledge to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that if He gives you one more day, you're going to try to do a better person, and you're going to try to do more fi sabilillah, and you're going to try to rectify any shortcomings or any mistakes that you still have, or bad habits that you will fix. It's always like that. Live it day per day. Yes, plan as if you're living forever. That's planning. But at the end of the day, take it one day at a time. You wake up, start thinking with the intention and pledge to do your best. And you end the day by self-assessment and pledge that if there is another chance, you're going to try to push your limits.
So do we have an agreement now that next week, everybody is going to come and explain what is his understanding for his mission in his life? Apparently, everybody's in agreement. At least no one is saying no.
And also, we can make it just to add the suggestions is not only what's your mission in life, but also how you define Islam as a life mission, essentially. I mean, how you present Islam with this new understanding, not as a checklist of things to do and things to avoid, but rather as a life mission that you embrace, etc. So, what's your mission? Is related, basically, two questions in one. What does it mean to be a Muslim, and what Islam is? Defining Islam and defining what does it mean to be a Muslim, or what is your mission in life?
Well, the other thing that related to the new Muslims, that's my fear, is they will be taking Islam as only rituals. And that's a problem, because you have all this energy, all this enthusiasm, and then it will be turned to be just rituals on a regular Muslim, instead of take this energy and maximize it or use it in the best way possible. I mean, we are talking about large numbers, but the thing here, how can we? I don't know. I mean, how can we reach to them and give them the message, the real understanding of Islam as a mission-oriented message or deen?
That's the reason. That's why a lot of them, they go back.
3 years.
Yeah.
The statistic that we have done, and it should be well known to everybody, a new Muslim usually stay a Muslim for 3 years. Then after that, either he becomes a Sufi, because he will find that he's seeking a personal relationship with Allah away from all the rituals. So he will join a Sufi tariqa, or he will just become in name a Muslim, or he will just go back to wherever he was. So read more about it. Let's all educate ourselves. No one can claim ignorance about any issue anymore. Now you can ask Google or ask AI, and you can find out anything you want in seconds. So please find out more. If you care about this issue, find out more about it. And the answer is probably is to have a website specifically directed to new Muslims, to new converts. And it would not be the only one. The internet is full of them. You can either contribute to one, contribute to more than one, have articles written and share them, or start your own. So all these are solutions that we need to think about and be innovative.
Okay, that's why people are leaving in large numbers.
Yes.
And then also worse than that, worse than that is basically when people go either to terrorism, because these are the ones who recruited them, and they adopt the Salafi understanding or framework that will lead sometime all the way to terrorism. Because I mean, if you don't have a background, whoever comes first to define Islam for you, that's what you're gonna, that's the version that you're gonna take. And then the reason they are leaving, because when they get attracted to the religion, they are basically embracing, number one, a religion that is foreign. It's not an indigenous. So when they embrace Islam, it becomes very hard for them to continue their life and to interact. They become torn apart, like our children. They become torn apart because we make them foreigner in their own country. And that's very evident, especially with our African-American brothers and sisters, who already they have a resentment toward this society. So when they embrace Islam, they would say, I know, I'm not an American. And they try to adopt even the culture and the dressing of the Khaliji and etc. That's not part of Islam. It has nothing to do with the religion. So when you embrace a religion, and then it makes it harder for you to function with your families, with your friends, with your colleagues, you become someone who is foreigner, or someone who is unable to interact, of course, become very hard to stay, to keep
That
it.
will lead to alienation.
Alienation. It's
That's-
going to become either or.
Yeah.
Either you stick to this religion and you cannot function properly, neither with your cousins, friends, colleagues, at work, everywhere. You cannot function properly.
Parents even.
Parents, because they give you a version of religion that will make you at odds with all these people, especially if they inject this wala and bara, and these are kuffar, and you cannot deal with them, and you should minimize interaction with them, but they are your cousins and families. So it's very understood and very logic that people are leaving, because, I mean, the same struggle that our children have to keep this religion, it's even much more for the new convert. And it's not solution is the same. There is no other solution. I mean, we can prepare very good websites, we can prepare very good brochures, we can distribute them, unless you have the model of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, unless when these individuals, first of all, they embrace Islam as a mission, they understand Tawheed properly, not with the Salafi confusion, they understand maqasid of deen early on, so things will be put in perspective, and then join a community, because that's what happened at the time for Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This deen, this religion is not a personal religion, it's not an individual religion.
You need support.
Yeah, you need that support group. When they try to join our community, they find themselves there is no community. In our Islamic centers, there is no community. So these people, we cut them off, they cut all their ties, and we don't even provide an alternative, even though they don't have to be cut off. I always tell people, you just continue. Anything that Islam approves, just continue doing it. You don't need to change everything. And you need to distinguish between what is religious, what is culture. The culture is not, you keep the American culture, whatever healthy elements in it, you keep it. So unless we have that proper understanding of Islam, but also supported with the community, so that I am a new Muslim, I am joining today, I find myself with a true community of an extended family. And I'm going to join as an individual, or I'm going to join as a family to that community. And there is a true leadership, there is true brotherhood and sisterhood, and then there is a mission that is bringing us together. Unless we do that, believe me, this rate of leaving Islam is going to continue. So it's the fastest growing religion, but also the fastest in leaking, because again, you may be attracted to some of the principles, but then you don't find those principles in action. You don't find a community that's going to support you, because that's a big challenge for people to convert to Islam. And solution, again, whether it is to achieve or fulfill the mission of Islam, whether it is to achieve and accomplish maqasid of Islam, whether it is to succeed in integrating a new convert, it's going to come down to that solid core group that turns into a solid prophetic community built and led according to the prophetic model, which is true leadership, true consultation or shura, true brotherhood, true sisterhood, and then joined by that common mission or common cause. So people, when they get together, they discuss not theoretical issues, they discuss where we are, what's next, because they have an agenda, they have platform, they have a strategy. Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, make no mistake about it, he had very clear vision and very clear strategy. I wrote about it, and inshallah we'll try to publish or prepare a book on, or a booklet on the seerah of Rasul Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as a movement of change. And I read it like this, and I found that he had clear vision and clear strategy with milestones and clear approach, which I summarize it in terms of secure your base, and engage your environment.
By the way, I heard you talking about this booklet for a while now. Why don't you give us a deadline so I can push you to finish on that deadline?
Wallahi, I'm gonna pull. I already have about like 30, 40 pages written. So I'm gonna pull that and start from there. Inshallah.
So by the end of the year, maybe, inshallah?
Hopefully we'll have a draft, inshallah, by the end of the year. Because I already have it. I just need to review it. So it was clear, secure your base, engage your environment. In Mecca, the base was the core group, the environment was Quraysh. And then in Medina, Medina became the base and its surrounding until the peninsula, the Arab Peninsula was the environment. And then after Sulh al-Hudaybiyah and Fatah Mecca, the Arabian Peninsula became the base, and then he sent his emissary to the leader of the world.
The word became the community.
And engaging, not fighting.
Yes.
It's very, very important to know. It's not Ghazw.
No.
It was engaging, and every battle he was involved in, it was imposed on them. It's not that they initiated it.
Can we assume that you're not going to use the word Ghazw at all in your booklet?
There is no Ghazw.
There is no Ghazw.
There is
Ghazw is an insult. It's an insult.
Engaging the environment.
Yes.
It's very different between engaging. Like you take it, he sent his emissary to the leader of the world. That's engaging.
Yes.
But one of them was killed. And at that time, the international norm, killing the emissary, it's an act of war. Declaration of war. Declaration of war.
Yeah.
That's what everybody understood at that time.
Yeah.
That if you send me someone with a message, الرسل لا يقتلون. If I'm a king and I kill that person, I'm declaring war against you. So when he was engaged in the battle of Tabuk, it was because of the emissary who was killed. It was not just expansion war.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I have a suggestion? I believe Brother Suhail from Bidish Kitchen wants to have a session this Friday for both of you, for Dr. Suhail and Dr. Safi, and everybody, of course, we are invited. Can we talk about this like a theory, or this
no.
what they
like
call
an
it?
approach, not like a theory, like an approach
Okay.
to the future.
Sure.
We're starting with this, and hopefully we'll move toward defining the terms. For instance, give you an example, and then maybe we should close because the time is already. Dr. Suhail talked about Shahada. According to my understanding, the Shahada a Muslim take is two Shahadas. The first one, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. And that's the Shahada of Islam. Wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. That's the Shahada of Iman. Because I am declaring that I believe in Muhammad as a messenger, and I'm going to follow the message he brought to me. So the first is Shahada of Islam. قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فهل أنتم مسلمون? So the Shahada of Islam requires that I believe in Allah, and that make most of the population on earth Muslims. And that the second Shahada is a belief in Muhammad's mission, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, for instance, this is the definition. We can discuss it, but this is based on my own research. Maybe somebody else has other research that showed it's different. So we can talk about it. Yeah. Defining the term is very important for a core group to be formed. So we can grow based on the same assumptions. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Inshallah, we'll confirm with Suhail about this, and we'll see you there Friday, Maghrib time.
جزاكم الله كل خير إن شاء الله. See you next Sunday at noon إن شاء الله.
شكرا.
السلام عليكم.
السلام عليكم جميعا.
جزاكم الله خير.
مع السلامة.